Okay, my extremely wonderful good friends, before we even start, I want to point out this guy right here, Woodward TV. Go there, subscribe, jingling the bell, all of that stuff. This guy, I've been following him for quite some time. I've never had any dispute with anything he said. And he is promoting my stuff too. This guy can see, he understands. I like him. So that's my recommendation. And you should go up and I want to say this. When you watch this, he'll say, "Well, this is sort of a new format for me," which it is. Normally he takes a topic and he really engages into it and shows you, like I do basically. However, this time he's sort of working, what our thinking is about and saying maybe we're going to have some live discussions. I don't think he's ever done those. I've never seen them. And he said, which would be different for him. Yes, absolutely. We need that live discussions. We need to talk this out. People need to be able to ask questions. Well, what are you talking about, Roger? Oh, what are you talking about, Jay? Somebody's got to say something. And right now, literally, the people that should be discussing are hiding from facts and truth. There's there's nothing here that's not reality. This is DNA tests. DNA tests, bacterial DNA extracted from 3 submitted mud fossil samples using gene clean ancient DNA extraction. This is not a joke. This is not something that's silly. This is not something that's unreal. This is not some guess. This is about as serious as you can get. And apparently somebody's telling me that President Trump has a friend that's quite engaged in this. I don't know if that's true or not, but if he is and he's a friend, talk to President Trump. Have him just engage in this. It may be a diversion during this very difficult time. I'm going to tell you right now. I don't get too into politics much because I see there's nothing you can do. That's a different world, and that's stuff you don't even know what's real there. It's just as you don't know what's real in the rest of anywhere now. I mean, seriously, I see very little that I don't question. I question everything. Let's put it that way. And I think it's time to look at what our real past was, and maybe this will shed some light on how we should respond to each other and how important this is, because I'm going to tell you right now, this points to every word that was written in the past, and it points to eternity, and eternity can have a couple of different outcomes. So I'm looking to try to find a good one. Okay, Roger once again. Today I am going to explain to you about coronavirus, COVID-19. It starts in your lungs. Well, it starts in your trachea, in the back of your throat, and up in your nasal passages. You get a bacteria in there. Now, what does that bacteria do? That bacteria lodges in here somewhere and starts to create a chemistry set. And why would it do that? The chemistry set is a program. And it's a series of molecules that have to be arranged in an exact, elegant, specific way. And that is a program designed by the bacteria called a virus. And it is also called an enzyme. We say, well, an enzyme makes you well. Exactly. A virus makes you sick, but it only is because it's exactly like an enzyme, only you can't fight back against it. Your enzymes cannot counteract that other enzyme that we are now calling a virus. They're nothing more than chemistry that's created by a bacteria. They get into the bloodstream, they flow down through the bloodstream, and then they lodge in the tissues in the lungs. And once they lodge in that tissue, they begin to destroy that tissue. And they begin to destroy what is called interstitium straps. There's a ball and a strap everywhere on here, thousands, millions of them, in your lungs. And that gives it, you can crush them and then they will come back, because the straps can change, they can stretch, they can crush, they can do everything, but they come back to where they are. They're squiggly little straps. And you can crunch them and they'll come back. You can stretch them and they'll come back. That's the key between those, and I'll show you what they look like right now. Okay, on every part of your body, you have a fabric just like that. Every single part of your body, your fingers, your toes, your tongue, your eyes, everything. Well, I don't know about the lenses of your eyes, but every part of you is coated with a fabric. Now, not only, and the lungs, your kidneys, your heart, your lung tissues are built like this. You have a surface here that is where the oxygen comes. But below that, you have a layer that is what is the structural layer of your lung. It can fold together like this, and these little brown things bend up and they pinch together like that. And everything squishes, and this could be made this thick. But then automatically these little springs open it back up. And these fluid-filled spaces fill back up and everything's fine. So you can do just like I said before, and it comes right back, and it comes back, because of these brown things. Now, the black spots are the tendon balls. I call them tendon balls. They're antithesis balls. They are the anchors. So they anchor everything, and then when everything comes back together, when your skin is young, because it's on your skin too. Now, as you get old, your skin doesn't come back the way it's supposed to. When you're young, you go like that, and it all pops right back. Blip, you're perfect. Well, when you get old like me, it doesn't go back. So this is why older people are having trouble, because this interstitium is the same stuff you have here, the same stuff on your heart, your lungs, your kidneys, every part of you, your skin. However, every single different place in your body has different chemistry. These interstitium straps are made of a different chemistry than the ones that are in your skin. And your skin and these have straps. They all have straps. Every single place. These are the ones that are being attacked. My recommendation is find out from an autopsy what a healthy tissue is, what the chemistry is of these straps and of these pockets, and then one that's unhealthy and one that's healthy, and see what the difference is. Now, if we can attribute it to some chemistry, at least we have some place to start thinking about. Now, they're talking about ACE2 inhibitors are the mechanism that allows these viruses, these spikes that are on the virus to come up to the ACE2 and go rip, and it says, okay, yeah, you can come in here, you just got the right stuff, perfect. But everybody else has this kind of stuff, and it goes, nope, 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 nope. But this exact stuff says, yeah, come on in. And when it comes in, it says, it just turns into slime. They cut into these lungs, and they are getting slime, sticky goo come out of it. They say they don't know, they've never seen it before. That's what I heard. And I understand body chemistry because this is what I study. I study this stuff right here. I study the reality of what happens to the body after you take all of the stuff out of it, and you end up with the stability of the molecules. What are those molecules? That's what I understand. And they don't understand this. They're always looking for some miracle bullet to shoot in there and everything's fine. It doesn't work that way. You have to have this stuff being maintained. That's the key. Some people don't, it doesn't rot out in some people. Why? How come it doesn't get so bad in some and not bad at all in others? There's an issue with the supportive chemistry. That's all it is. In my mind, I could be totally wrong, but I don't think so. And I got to make this mention, when I say supportive chemistry, I'm going to tell you right now, your health and your infection is the exact same thing. A virus is an enzyme. Your body creates viruses all day long. You are creating virus after virus after virus all day long. Those are enzymes. A virus is not alive, an enzyme is not alive. They are both chemistry sets, and to our body they are programs. They look at that series of molecules and they say, ooh, that means we go down there and destroy this stuff. Go down there and break it apart. That's what it does. And the other one goes in there, an enzyme, and says, ooh, go down there and make some chemistry that will allow this to add to this to keep it springy. go down and maintain it. They're both the same thing. They're both identical. There's no difference whatsoever. Zero. And they are both created by bacteria in your body. The bacteria creates a program. We call it a virus or an enzyme. The enzyme gets into the bloodstream. It goes to where it's supposed to be. The cell says, oh, you're here to help me. Well, the virus is the same thing as the enzyme, only the virus goes down there and it doesn't do what it's supposed to. It has a little glitch in it. And it goes down and says, yeah, I'm here to help you. It says, okay, what do you want me to do? It says, go down and break these things up. It's okay, no problem. It makes one after another, and they go and break them up. That's what an enzyme does, and that's what a bacteria does. Case is closed. If you could come up with a better explanation, God bless you. All right, I discovered something called mud fossils, and they are soft tissue fossils that were preserved in what I feel was the Great Flood, a great saltwater flood. This is lung tissue. You see the black and the red and the white, those are the fabrics of life. Now, I have extensive amounts of research on this, huge amounts. Now, that is grip skin. Whoops, this one here is grip skin. Those are the fibers that are in the skin of grip skin, your fingers and your toes. Very, very tough. And then this is your lung tissue. Now, I have ones from deep inside the lungs, too. That's some gold that's coming out of things, some more gold. And this is blood. That's blood that has coagulated. Then that's vein blood. The black is where the veins are. This is regular skin tissue, and these are the pores and the holes that are in the skin and the blood vessels and the different blood tissues that are around them. I mean, that's just what it is. And I have studied this for many years. I'm not guessing whatsoever. If anybody wants to discuss this, I can discuss this all day long. I mean, this is nothing but bloody tissues. I can find everything that I need to find. And when you go, let's go deep in the lungs. All right, there's a couple of lungs right there. This one bled. I mean, blobs of blood. Literally every one of these red spots had blood coming out of it. This is the lung. I sent the DNA from down here. We drilled down into there to get some DNA out of the red blood spot. This is a lung. There's no question whatsoever. Anatomist verified. There's nobody can deny that. That flat spot is where it died in the flood. And apparently all these things died in that great salt flood. That's all I can say. Now, I have so much detail on this. All right, this I made myself. That's a mud fossil precursor. It's starting to take on the mud fossil, and this is where it's either fat right there or that is tendon, and I think it might be a tendinous material. I can't remember. It's been a while. This is inside the lung, deep in the lung, and that's where it's transferring from deoxygenated to oxygenated. This is just fascia tissue down inside there. And this is what's happened. Here's the issue with, well, let me get a better shot. I think I got a better shot. No, I guess I don't. Well, I know I do, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Deep in the lung, what's going on is the red and the black. Well, you know what? I do have a better shot. See, this is the beauty of having 83,000 people reporting to me about things they find. Gary Evans sent me that. He says, I found this lung. Well, he didn't know what it was at first. And then he broke it open. And there's what's inside. It's a lung. What happens in your lung is you have blood coming into the lung that has no oxygen in it. That's this. And then it goes through all what they call alveoli, or little tiny. This is a lung right here that's petrified in a different manner, but these are all the little holes. So the main air goes in there. It goes through all these little. You can see the holes go down inside there. You see that? Then it goes through the whole thing. And that air goes through there, and wherever the black, which is in your body, is blue, but it's deoxygenated. Wherever that hits one of these little airways that has oxygen inside of it, immediately the oxygen jumps over. So at this side, you have oxygenated. See the red? And these are all the little tubes that run down to all these little holes. That's all it is. So what's going on, though, inside here, let's look at some other shots. Anatomical will make a lot more sense. Before we do that, just think about this. Here's what they say. They should be able to compress the lung, and it goes right back open, dead or alive. It's a sponge. It's supposed to go just like that, all by itself. You don't have to breathe. It should do that. You know, lung compression, and you come back up, you're not breathing. Your lung is doing that. Well, your bones are pulling you back open, but still, they could take that lung right out of you and go, and it should come back. All right, now let's see why. All right, here's that lung I showed you that bled the blood right out of it. Here it is right here. Now you see all those little circular, they almost look like, well, they're little circles. and there's an entrance going into them. Now, I don't think they're as big and round balls like they're showing here in the lungs. I think they're more like this. And they come open, they automatically come open. And then when the lung gets compressed, they flatten out, and then they automatically release. And that's what's called interstitial. Let's go look at that. Okay, my friends, this is getting pretty serious, this COVID-19, because of the sepsis. Septicemia is the worst thing that can happen to you. You could die in 15 minutes from that stuff. My father-in-law went in not feeling well, not totally on death's door. My wife went over, and he looked like he wasn't feeling well. She said, let's go and take you to the hospital. See what it looks. He was dead in the morning from sepsis. It attacks you, and it just ravages your entire system. Now, they're starting to find out the story behind this COVID-19. It's not what they thought it was. Now, extremely virulent, extremely easy to catch it, and here's what happens. Now, it says, now that more scientific data available on COVID-19, the Global Sepsis Alliance can more definitely state that COVID does indeed cause sepsis. Sepsis, life-threatening organ dysfunction caused by dysregulated host response to infection. Let's read it again. Dysregulated host, that's us, response to invasion, which is the infection. Well, what is that infection? That infection is nothing more than chemistry. It's chemistry. It's not like a bug biting you or something. It's chemistry. And that chemistry goes down, and it literally destroys, demolecularizes these little straps in your fascia fabric that makes everything stretch and come back. Stretch and come back. Right now, those little, they're like this. They're like springs. Boop, and they're always like that. They can compress, but they'll always come back. Well, right now, they're compressing, and then they turn into goo. They cut open the lungs, blah, 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 all this stuff comes out, which is a slimy, sticky stuff I never saw before. In the case of COVID-19, the effects on the respiratory system are well known. Most people require hospitalization, developing pneumonia, varying severity. However, virtually all other systems can be affected. At first, I thought it was a strict lung situation, but it appears that the lung is the first to be infected, and then it's systemic. It's consistent with a combination of direct viral invasion and sepsis. The direct viral invasion is into your lungs, the upper and lower respiratory, all through your respiratory system, and then that appears to create the sepsis. For example, recently published series of severe COVID cases from the Seattle area, United States. 30% had evidence of liver injury, 75% evidence depressed immune response, well, obviously. Another series from the same region reported acute kidney failure, 20% affected patients required ICU care, and both series reported septic shock severe enough to require drugs to support the heart and circulation, 70% of the patients. This is what's going on. is sepsis. And I believe there's a better way. Well, I believe there's a way to deal with sepsis that is not being, in my opinion, it's not being looked at carefully enough. So let's start talking about sepsis. All right, this is just basic research. A high level of lactic acid caused by infection can be an important clue that you have sepsis. C-reactive proteins. Your body produces C-reactive proteins when there is inflammation. A blood culture test tries to identify what type of bacteria is causing this infection. So now we know what sepsis does. It causes a C-reactive protein reaction. Well, we talked about lactic acid. Well, what's lactic acid? It's the stuff that builds up in your muscles when you do too much work. It's during intense exercise, it can lead to painful, sore muscles. Everybody says, oh, I'm sore or stiff, or sore muscles and sweating and all this stuff. You got a situation going on in your body. You need to stay hydrated, and then you need, obviously you need the nutrients. If you don't have the products in your body, I don't care what, you're going to be sick. I don't care what you're going to be sick from. You're going to be sick from something. And if you don't have the products, it's likely that you do not have the bacteria in your gut to break down the products you eat. Virtually anything can be turned into sustenance. Well, most things. You're better off to eat the things that are nature provided, the bioavailable stuff. You can't break down nuclear waste and turn it into food. You need to start with food. This is the issue. We don't even have food anymore. I'm telling you, it's a very distressing. I'm distressed when I do research now. I'm telling you, I am. It's because of the absolute. I don't want to get nasty, but it's greed, really, is what it boils down to. All right, I'm not going to drag you through the mud on this, but let's go to the C-reactive protein. Well, what's that all about? It ends up being, it's a CRP is composed of 5 identical, non-glycosylated 206 amino acid polypeptide subunits. Well, what's a polypeptide? What's a peptide? Polypeptide just means a bunch of peptides. Well, what's that all about? This is just basic research. I'm not splitting any atoms here. We're looking at peptides. So we saw polypeptide. Well, let's start with a peptide, because then we can go to poly later. Well, peptides have been applied to various types of reactions as capable catalysts. Well, guess what? They're making their own peptides now. They decided, well, we can make a special peptide. That'll cut all these little pieces. We put them back together again. We can make it do something it's not supposed to do in nature. That's the issue. Okay, recently, forever, I've been recommending Garden of Life, and it's called Primal Defense. But now I just started looking into, whatever. They say this is the #1 rated, and I can see why. Look at what's it got in there. See, lactobacillus is very important, and acidophilus is the big one. And then you got all these other lacto. Then it's got all these bifos. Now, that is more varied than Primal Defense. So I'm going to try this one too. And I don't think it's any more money. I'm looking into, and I'm looking into what it's talking about. And recent coronavirus outbreak frightening because it's high mortality rate. The older you are, the higher the risk. Absolutely. The preventive measures you can reduce. This, they're talking about all these other things, but this is what's really important is these probiotics. Because that gives you the defenses. Probiotics are enzymes that actually do chemistry. They're just chemistry sets. They go in and they are what these bacteria will make, or they are live bacteria that are creating this chemistry set. And then it goes and breaks up molecules and gets them ready for you to digest and use them or make whatever you need to be healthy. However, if you don't have the probiotics that are there to make these products, you can get invaded, and then you won't have the products to fight the invasive ones. So you really need a complete, symphony of these little bacterias in there to create these different chemistry sets. Otherwise, it's gonna require a chemistry set. You're not gonna have it, and that's exactly what's happening with this COVID. I don't know whether there's some kind of bacteria that's creating a chemistry set, and that chemistry set is going down and it's invading cells and telling the cells make all this stuff that's a chemical cocktail. Then it goes out and it breaks chemistry down, and the next thing you know, you're sick. And there's no other one to come along and say, well, break that stuff up, stop that. You don't have the bacteria in you that understands what to do. And really, it's a dance between the bacterias. And we created bacteria now that are spliced back and forth, and we just have no idea what they're doing. They're just in there doing whatever they want, and half of them are trying to do this way, and the other half are doing the other way. And we're in the middle saying, which way do we go? No clue. And that's why we should not be splicing these things. Not a good idea. Not a good idea at all. Last word.